Alright guys, I think it's time for a bit of an update video. One that I know a lot of you have been waiting for, some of you have been asking for it. So I want to let you know what happened with my FTMO verification. Now, it's only a few weeks ago that I passed the challenge and I put a video out about that. And if you saw that video, you might remember that I was talking about how the process was made more difficult than I anticipated and more difficult than necessary because I had publicly announced that I was going to be doing the challenge, and therefore there was this sort of wave of pressure that I had, this need to perform, this like weight of expectation that had affected my mindset and made the whole thing a bit more difficult. And since that video came out, on a near daily basis, I've had DMs and comments from people with best intentions, just wanting updates about the verification. How's it going? Have you passed it yet? Even after like one day, have you passed it yet? And it was like this constant daily reminder of the pressure, the need to perform, sort of affects my mindset, made me think about the fact that people are waiting for me to pass or fail, thousands of people. And so it didn't make it any easier. And I wanted to bring out this update video to let you know what happened, and that way people can stop asking. We can all just move on from it. And so basically, last Tuesday, I passed the verification. My bad acting skills. Sorry to do an intro like that. Do you know what it is? With the last video, when I passed that first challenge, the vast majority of comments were so overwhelmingly positive and encouraging and supportive. I really appreciate you guys leaving comments like that. Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure to read through them all. But there were like one or two sad people who couldn't possibly bring themselves to say something positive when there's a good thing that's happened. So instead they had to clutch at straws and give any negative things they could possibly come up with. And so I knew those people were waiting for me to fail. So I wanted to excite them a little bit at the start of this video, thinking that I'm going to leave excuses for why I haven't passed the verification. But no, fortunately, I passed it last week on Tuesday. I would have brought out this update video sooner on Friday, but I lost my voice. As you can hear, I've got it back now. I found it. But yeah, it's all done. We got the £140,000 trading account, which is the largest size for the single account. That's the equivalent of the $200,000. And I've already started trading it, so it's legit, it's done. And in fact, I've started the second challenge, which I won't be giving updates on because I don't need the extra pressure. And in fact, on that one, the whole process has been so much more enjoyable without having like the fact that people are waiting to know what happens with it. It's just been like straightforward. It's in profit already at the moment. But basically, you may remember back in January, there was the first video I did about FTMO where I was explaining my views on funded trading accounts, FTMO in particular, and I announced then that I was going to do the challenge. I gave several reasons why I was going to be doing it. Click up here if you want to know why and you haven't seen that video yet. So when that video came out, on that same day, I took the first trade on that challenge, and 1 week and 1 day later, the challenge was done. And I released that second video explaining my experience of that. And I said, don't be fooled by how quickly it's been completed. It was tough, it was difficult. I gave advice for anyone that's going through it themselves, what you can do to try and get rid of some of that pressure and trade in an optimal way. So then on the 31st of January, which I think is a Monday, I started the verification challenge where you have 60 days to achieve a 5% return. And by the following Tuesday, so again, 1 week and 1 day, I seem to like Tuesdays for completing these challenges, I'd passed it, or at least the profit target. I then had to do the active trading days because you have to hit 10 minimum active trading days, so just small positions for the remaining days, and then it was completed. And by the way, if you are going through this yourself and you need to see off those 10 active trading days, you can also use the weekend cryptocurrency markets. I wouldn't suggest trading them, but you can open like 0.01 of a lot and, you know, open it and close it, take the few pennies profit or loss, and that will count as an active trading day. So I'm really, really relieved that it's over. And now that that whole process is done, I have a few points that I want to give you as advice for if you're thinking of doing this. Some of them are similar to what I went through in the last video, but I tried not to repeat things too much. So if you want all of the advice, go and check out that one as well. But the first thing is something I said in that video, and that is that the best way to take the pressure off yourself is to not be feeling like this is your only chance at it. So a lot of people spend their time saving up the money for the fee, and then that's their only go. Like they save up for the bigger account size, and that's their only chance to do the challenge. Instead, if you divide that up into a few portions of a smaller challenge, then even if you pass it first time, you might think, oh, I should have done a bigger one. But it's not about that. It's about how it affects your mindset. Knowing that it's not your only chance, that if things go wrong, if you make a mistake or something, you can go again, is going to take off the pressure. And the way the challenge is set up, it's going to give you enough pressure already that you don't need that extra pressure. So by taking away the feeling that it's your only chance, it's going to make things much better for you. I know because I felt this was my only chance because of my reputation. So even if I failed and paid to go again, people are going to always be thinking, well, no, you didn't do it first time. So I had that feeling. And I think if you can take away that feeling, you'll do much, much better. And on a similar topic to that, there was something that came to my attention from reading the comments on that video and messages that I've received since then about people's approach to the funding. What I've seen is that people are a lot more focused on achieving the money to go through the funding than they are actually working on their trading. People will just go and do as many attempts as they can of trying to pass the challenge and thinking that once they have the funded trading account, they're going to make profits. And like once they pass it, it's a sign that they're ready for it, rather than actually becoming a consistently profitable trader first and then doing the challenge. You see, what good is it wasting your time doing the challenge if when you get the account, you're likely to lose it anyway? If you haven't shown that you can consistently profit over time when you're trading, what good is a funded trading account? All you're going to do is get accustomed to trading at higher risk to pass the challenge where you need to take bigger risks, and it's only going to impact your trading in a negative way over the long run anyway. So please guys, the amount of comments I saw of people who have never really traded before, they just heard about these funded trading accounts and they're just going for it, or people that are doing the demo account and if they pass on a demo account, they'll do the challenge. This is not the right approach. Trust me, you need to get your trading at a point where you know that you're consistent and you've been making good returns, and then go for the funded account. Don't try to run before you can walk, or put the cart before the horse, they say. I don't want to turn this video into some sort of big rant or something like that, because this video is a positive thing. I passed the verification, not ranting about people that aren't passing it. But this whole topic ties into something else that I feel about people learning to trade. And I see it from the stats on our channel. For example, if you look at our motivational videos, they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. And I've stopped doing them because I think people don't need those, but people would rather watch those, or the videos about FTMO really took off for us. People would rather watch videos about getting funded than the videos that will genuinely help people to learn to trade properly and the serious topics. We have a second channel, Market Movers, which, okay, we have not been putting videos out in the last couple of weeks while I've been busy with this. But those videos are about what's happening in the markets, what's happening in the economy, what's happened, like economic data, explaining them and things like that. Those, barely any views. A video where I'm talking about how to pass FTMO, it will take off. Or motivational videos. People have their priorities in the wrong places. People want things handed to them, and that's not the way to get ahead. People see quick and easy money with an FTMO account, but it's more likely a quick and easy way to lose your money on the fee. So please, work on your trading first. I don't want to be like a nagging Nigel who's telling you all the bad things, but please, it's for your own good. Get your trading in order, then do the FTMO challenge. All right, so moving on from all of that kind of stuff. The third bit of advice I have is about the position sizes, your risk, and the contrast effect. Because in that first challenge, inevitably, you're going to be having to push things, being a bit more aggressive than normal. Maybe higher position sizes, maybe more frequently trading than normal. Either way, it's going to be something that if you continue it over the long term, is likely to not be as sustainable as your normal trading. So the contrast effect is something that takes effect. Going from the first challenge where you have to achieve 10% in only 30 days to the second challenge where you have 60 days to reach 5%, you can drop down your risk a bit. You can take your foot off the gas a little bit. In fact, if you achieve a certain percentage within a certain number of days, FTMO actually email you. Part of the email is them asking for feedback, but the first part of the email is saying, you've got double the amount of time to achieve half the amount of the profit target as the first challenge. Don't feel you need to hurry. And then once you pass that challenge and you get the funded account, they again remind you, there's no time limit now, you've got the funded account. Some people get overexcited when they pass the challenge and get the funded account and they end up blowing it. Don't do that. So you have to keep in mind that you've got this contrast effect, that you've been under pressure, Don't jump straight into the next challenge with the same mindset. Take some time off. Take a few days away from the market. Take a week off. I jumped straight into the second one, and I felt at the start my trading was bad for the first couple of days because I hadn't adjusted yet. I needed time to reset. So I should have taken time off. I'd recommend, if you're going through this process, between each phase, take the time you need to readjust, maybe go through some practice sessions and then come back to it. And that brings me on to the final point, which is about practicing. If you're preparing to go through the FTMO challenge, how should you practice? What I was seeing in the comments on the last video and from conversations I've had with people, a lot of people are doing their own challenge with their trading account, whether it's a demo account, or some people are using the demo challenge on the FTMO platform or a simulator. And it's basically they're starting with the account balance they'd have in the challenge. And if they achieve the profit target in the set amount of time, then okay, they've passed the challenge. And some people are going to do the real challenge once they've done that once. Some people are going to do it a few times before they're ready. Some people are going to do 10 different challenges and see how many times they pass it before they go and do the full one. But this is not necessarily the right way to go about things, because with the FTMO challenge, the most difficult thing is when you're under pressure. So when you're in a drawdown, or when you've hit some profits and then you start to eat into that a little bit, or like various situations, it's never going to be just starting from zero and achieving that profit target in a smooth way. The problems come when things don't go according to plan. So if you want to prepare, going through the challenge in an easy way and thinking I'm ready is not the right way. Instead, put yourself in difficult situations. Get a simulator or do it on a demo account or whatever. Put yourself in 8% drawdown, dig your way back up to zero and then achieve the challenge. Give yourself only 5 days remaining of the challenge to complete it. So rather than starting off and saying, I've got 30 days to achieve the 10%, say I've got 5 days left and I've got 7% left to do. Put yourself in different scenarios where when you've gone through those different situations you might find yourself in, you might feel, okay, I've gone through a lot of experiences that I can draw upon when I go through this challenge. I'll now put aside enough money that I can go through the challenge multiple times, but knowing I'm prepared enough to get through it the first time, and you'll have a much greater chance of succeeding. Now remember, the challenge is not something where you have to prove yourself. In the comments on the last video, there were people, losers, who wrap their whole identity into the fact that they've passed the challenge and you haven't, or they had a smaller drawdown than you. Who cares? You're not doing this to compete with someone else. You're doing this for yourself to have a funded account. If it takes you 2 times, it takes you 2 times. If it takes you 3 times, it takes you 3 times. If you have to prepare for months before you do your first one, so be it. The most important thing is that you feel confident enough and comfortable enough to pass the challenge and block out all these losers in the comments who are trying to be naysayers and tell you like, oh, I've done it better than you. Who cares about them? What I would say though is, for your own sake, just make sure that you are consistently profitable and, understand the difference between people giving you good advice in the comments and people who are trying to show they're better than you. But anyway, overall, I'd say that I'm happy I went through this experience. It ticked all the boxes of what I was trying to achieve with this. I am doing the second challenge. I might tell you at some point in the future, as in the second account, I'm doing a challenge on that. I might tell you at some point in the future when that's achieved. I will be trying to do the scaling and that kind of thing. But there are 2 things I realized that has changed my plan a little bit. The first is that I don't really want to be talking about this now so much because of the extra pressure. I don't think it's necessary. It's not benefiting anyone. I've done the first one. That's that whole process. I delivered on what I said I was going to do, so I don't need to do any more now. And also the second thing is, I don't want to encourage people thinking that this is easy and that more people are going to jump into this before they're ready, because I'm seeing a lot of that. You can see it on the official FTMO videos. If you look in the comment section, you'll find the most basic beginner questions possible, and these people are paying money to get a funded trading account. It doesn't seem right to me. So I'm not going to be talking about FTMO as much as I thought I would, even though it gains us a lot of views and people want to watch these videos, because I don't think it's responsible for me. It starts making me feel like a bit of an enabler for people that are trying to rush into this and basically gambling. So if you have any questions or comments, please do leave them below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.